Welcome in, everyone. We have some major updates out of the National Guard military attack shooting that unfolded on November 26th in Washington, D.C., and critically wounded two brave American service members right near the White House. I can tell you, as I mentioned yesterday, that the amount of sirens, police, helicopters that were in the air, I could hear it literally from where I'm sitting right now filming this, was incredible. The response was rapid. And as of me filming this, both service members are alive, clinging to life. The suspect is also alive and clinging to life. And now we have details that the suspect worked at one point in his life for the CIA. That is going to, I want to be careful with my words here. We need answers, and we need answers right now. So we have a bunch of updates, a bunch of details, what military unit this guy came from in Afghanistan, what his connections are to the CIA. We are getting more and more information. So I'm going to break it all down. As always, before we get into it, please make sure to like and subscribe. Comment with your thoughts below. Please keep the comments appropriate. YouTube is flagging and deleting videos when things go too far, and I want to be able to share the news with everyone. So please, please, please keep your comments appropriate and professional. This is a serious situation and needs to be treated as such. Hit that bell, all notifications turn on. And then if you have any tips or information or thoughts, you can reach out to Instagram, David_Hookstead, XD_Hookstead. So as we know, on November 26th, the nation was shocked to its core when a gunman opened fire in an ambush-style attack on two U.S. National Guard service members stationed near the White House. The National Guard is in the area due to the fact that they are here to get the city under control, fight crime. The suspect's name is Rahmanullah Lakanwal. He's an Afghan national. He came from Afghanistan. I'm going to put this on the screen for you. Not only did he come from Afghanistan, let's read this from the BBC. The father of five had been recruited at Unit 03 of the Kandahar Strike Force 9 years earlier. So 9 years prior to the fall of Afghanistan, he was working for an elite Afghan commando team that was run by the CIA. His unit was known locally as Scorpion Forces, operating initially under the CIA, but eventually for the Afghan intelligence department known as the National Director of Security. Mr. Lakanwal was a GPS specialist, tracking specialist. A former commander told the BBC, describing him as a sporty and jolly character. His whole unit was moved from Kandahar to Kabul 5 days before the Taliban entered the capital. They continued to protect the airport for another 6 days before they were airlifted out to the United States. So he worked for a CIA unit in Afghanistan. He was an Afghan commando, an Afghan soldier, member of an elite counterterrorism, with their version of elite, not elite by our standards. So he was literally trained by the CIA. The CIA literally trained the guy who did this. I'm going to share this on the screen now. This is from Fox News. This is Jennifer Griffin. It says alleged shooter Rahmanullah Lakanwal worked for the CIA in Afghanistan out of Kandahar base, according to CIA Director John Ratcliffe. Multiple sources tell me he was vetted before working with the CIA by the National Counterterrorism Center and the CIA. I'm told that Lakanwal was with the task force in Kandahar during the Afghan withdrawal. The CIA airlifted with the help of the U.S. military, many Afghan allies who worked with the U.S. government and took special care of those who were badged and worked with the agency. They were taken to bases in Qatar and Europe and then onward to military bases in the U.S. where further vetting was supposed to take place. Having a CIA ID would have put him in the vetted category. I'm told there was nothing in his background when he arrived in the U.S. on September 8, 2021 that suggested links to terrorism. He applied for asylum last year and reportedly received asylum in April under the Trump administration. So we have more right here. The alleged Afghan shooter, Rahmanullah Lakanwal, began working with the CIA around 2011. It's believed he may have been only 15 years old when he started working for the CIA in Afghanistan. At the time, the CIA would have done its own vetting through a variety of databases, including NCTC database, to see if he had any known ties to terrorist groups. That does not mean that NCTC did the vetting of him before he began working for the CIA. The CIA did its own vetting and kept the identities of those worked with secret. Among the databases CIA would run his name through before working with him would have been, again, among several, the NTC database. So we know for a fact this guy worked for the CIA. The U.S. government has admitted it. He was trained by the CIA, worked in close coordination with the CIA in Afghanistan. He was part of an Afghan commando team, Task Force Kandahar Task Force, something like that. And this is the suspect in the shooting of Andrew Wolf and Saren Breckstrom. So both of those individuals, again, as of me filming this, are alive, but they are clinging to life. They need your prayers. Please say a prayer for them in the comment, but please keep it appropriate. So President Trump also addressed the nation. I'm going to play part of this here for you. I got to get it teed up. Give me 1 second. So this is President Donald Trump. He addressed the nation on Wednesday night ahead of Thanksgiving about the shocking about the shocking shooting. Again, these two heroes are still alive. Let's watch and listen to what President Trump had to say. There's two key parts here.
My great fellow Americans, earlier today on the eve of the Thanksgiving holiday, two members of the National Guard serving in Washington, D.C., were shot at point-blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House. They had been deputized as part of the most successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation's capital, the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all type. This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those two members of the West Virginia National Guard and their families. The love of our entire country is pouring out for them, and we are lifting them up in our prayers. As we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot, we're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price. I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner which we
do know. And then now he's got some comments at the end here as well that I want to show.
Direction. Haven't already done that. During this time of the year, when we gather at home with loved ones, these two patriots were wearing the uniform of our country, patrolling the streets of our capital. They had taken a selfless oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is exactly what they were doing when they were gunned down in a savage attack. I want to express my extraordinary gratitude to every member of the United States military who is deployed tonight at home and abroad. I also want to thank the Secret Service and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department for their work today. This Thanksgiving, I ask every family to say a prayer for the two great heroes who were so horribly shot, and for their loved ones. Please say a prayer. May God bless them and comfort them, and may God bless and protect the United States of America. Thank you and good night.
So that was some of the comments that President Trump shared. Now, we do have some details, some more details of the two heroes, Andrew Wolf and Saren Breckstrom, who were brutally and for no reason in a targeted and coordinated attack, shot multiple times as they cling to life. These are some details. Let's give it from Janine Pirro, the AG of Washington, D.C.
It is Sarah Breckstrom, Beckstrom, and Andrew Wolf with an E, Wolfe. Okay, and Sarah Breckstrom, S with an H. Okay. Now, with respect to their medical condition, as I said, they are receiving the finest medical care. Their families are with them now. They are critical. I think you understand the meaning of that. It's not clear, how this is going to end up. But let me be perfectly clear about how it will end up in this office. If one of them is to pass, and God forbid that happens, this is a murder one. Period. End of the story. We are praying on a day like today when families come together in America and they hold hands around the Thanksgiving table. I beg you, I beseech you to pray for these two young people that they survive.
So right there was Janine Pirro. Man, this is a tough one to get through, guys. I mean, this is brutal. And this is Pam Bondi announcing on Fox News that they are alive and have made it through multiple surgeries and are clinging to life.
People's families who are going through this. Right now, we will base our charges based on their prognosis. They both came through surgery. I'm not going to talk about their conditions right now. I know their families are with them. I'd like to add something about the young woman.
So that is Pam Bondi announcing that they did make it through surgery. Guys, it's evil. It's tragic. It's heartbreaking. These two service members should be with their unit today, eating a Thanksgiving lunch or Thanksgiving dinner, or they should be at home with their families doing the exact same. And instead, they are in a hospital fighting for their life because an absolute scumbag tried to murder them. And now we are learning details that he worked for the CIA and was brought to the United States of America during the collapse of Afghanistan. There are a lot of questions we need answered. There are a lot of questions that are going to be uncomfortable for people to answer, but they must be asked no matter what. We also need a lot of prayer. We need a lot of prayer in this country. And maybe if we do a little more praying, we can get this country back on track. But there's a sickness out there. There's an evil out there, and it must be confronted, and it must be absolutely destroyed. I beg you, say a prayer for the two brave National Guard service members as they fight for their lives, and say a prayer for their family because they desperately need it too. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family, despite the horrific backdrop of this attack. Take time with your friends, your family. Let them know how much you care about them, because this situation is a reminder you really don't know what can happen in life. It's tough, guys. And I think you can see how rattled I am by this. This happened right in my area. And I've been in the exact steps, the exact location where these two brave service members were shot. I walked past that, stood there too many times to count, right next to the White House, the seat of American power. Justice must be swift. It must be overwhelming. And we need as many prayers as we can get. So please take some time today with your family. Pray for these two heroes. I'll see you all next time.